So we do my little introduction. I'm Adam Norris, entrepreneurs, redneck style, on the Beaver lathe, a mini Beaver lathe, the cheapest piece of crap you could buy. So I think I was gonna give like $402 for it. It's the cheapest one that I could find. And I seen guys that tried a few different things, and of course upgrading to the taper roller bearings. That was one of the first things I done. And then of course the problems with the bed. When you're trying to cut threads on a bed and it moves or jumps around, or any little movement rocking in cross bed, you're gonna screw up your threads. So I adjusted it. I'd always adjust it before I do the threads, and it done pretty good. But I seen some mistakes I made, and I was cutting some threads late one night, doing left-hand threads, practicing. I'm a carpenter by trade, so my brother was a machinist in the Navy. He's always done that we've always fixed everything. I've never called a mechanic my whole life. We always fix it no matter what it takes, and the help of YouTube. And my whole life, I'm 46, I've been wanting to do some YouTube videos on a lot of stuff, but where I'm from, it's, I run my own little custom carpentry business, and I do a variety of things. I kind of like I do it all. Most of my work's about an hour helping people out, and when you're charging somebody about an hour, you can't just take forever and have the phone and be able to do every little detail. So there's a ton of stuff. Excuse my rooster out there crowing. There's a ton of stuff over the years. I would have loved to have been able to film little tricks of the trade, things I've been able to come up with. And I'm going to try, as I've gotten older, to start filming some of this stuff. I always work on stuff. I'm always buying stuff, fixing it, just like a lot of people. There's a lot of smart people on YouTube. A lot of dummies and a lot of smart ones. But I learn a lot from everybody. And that's what it's about, everybody helping everybody. So I just wanted to give this little introduction to go with my video I apologize that I didn't get the actual video of me doing the roller bearings, but I got a lot of photos, and I talked about it in another video. I'm putting it all together of how I done it, and it's worked out really good. So it'll probably be my first video out of all the things that I could be making a video on. This is just one of them that happened to be it. And I may do one on that one. It's tore down. There's a lot of good videos on that. Those guys doing them. I do all kind of stuff, and I have a lot of fun doing it. Unfortunately, cost-wise, I have plenty of money. I would probably have the phone on me and do detailed stuff 24/7 all the time to help people. But maybe one day. I will see you on the next one. Out. Alrighty, too. Got a few things I'm gonna share with you. The Beaver lathe, the cheapest one they make. Seen a few videos on guys doing these. Sorry, my battery's about to go dead. I'm gonna do a quick little video. Anyway, they talked about how they couldn't get the bearings to seal up when they switch over to these taper. So I had 1/4 inch it's Lexan's what I use actually, and I've actually made a seal run out. You can see this a little better. I wish I could have took the time to actually do step by step, but so these is actually going to work. I'm going to come in here when I put this other piece on my gear. I've got it cut tight to actually go around that, and then my grease port here. So when it's all said and done, I'm actually be able to grease this thing and keep the grease in, which is the hardest thing to do on this. So I'll give you a little update when I get it all going. See how that fits over that just perfect. In here I run some sealant MP1. It's super durable. And I channeled it along with channeling the grease port. So when it makes up, it's just going to shoot the grease in there, and it goes down on there. It's going to capture it all in and keep it sealed in. I will give you a little bit of an update when it's up and running, and then try to do a video on it when I'm greasing it, shooting the grease in there, and how well it keeps it. Okay. Keep it right on that right now.
Like this far?
Yeah. See if you can hold it up close enough where you can see the grease going in. Alright, I'm trying to keep it there. Alright, YouTube, another little update. So, the battery's going dead. The plate I was talking about earlier, I made it the width of the base. See that? Exactly the width of the base. I've lined up dead my screw. One side was already centered on this bed, and so I made this one dead center of this distance in my plate. I don't know if you can see how that plate rides. See if I can get the light in there. Anyway, you get the gist how the plate rides. So, sorry, I'm holding my phone. I'm all screwed up. This is where I'm gonna cut my brass bushing now. So, I'll mill down me a little piece of brass. Be the width of from the top of that to the bottom, and it'll go through. It'll ride like a bearing. Already with what I've done with that, especially these is key. These are a little long. They don't got to be how long, just something I happen to have. Being able to adjust that and push that up against this bed is stout. I mean, there is absolutely zero, not one bit of movement. It is there. So, and then another key when you're tightening these and messing with these, because I had a lot of problems cutting threads and movement back. You do a little bit. Loctite these. Get red Loctite. You know, I notice you end up finding that as you move your bed, right, you can tighten this one depending on how it's rocking, where it's moving. This one can be a little bit more tighter because as you move the bed out, it's coming off of the actual where it's got the little dovetail brace in here. So that helps keep it more snugger. You can get a little more tighter, and then it actually helps from not having to tighten these two as much, because the majority of your machining is back and forth in here. You're not going much distance out. Little tricks like that, it helps a lot, because it can be in a pain. You try to find that happy medium. See, this is a little bit stout, but I know just a little bit of use. I've oiled it. It's going to be okay. I'd rather have it a little bit stout and not have to worry about it jumping my threads or having any problems. And this is just smooth. Once I got in behind here, there's a lot of little things I was doing. I cut a sleeve for this little shaft that comes out in these gears, made that turn so there's no wobble and I mean, it's just so much better. Anyway, I'll update again when I do these bearings. This is a big difference on this cross feed table for this little cheap mini lathe. So I forgot to add earlier, I had to incorporate this in my video, and again, I apologize because my video is probably gonna suck. I got a regular iPhone, and my editing skills ain't that great, but we can get through it. I wanted to add, if you can see this or not, just to tell you the size if you decide to do this. This is to back it up little mini lathe. Again, these the screws that I had added, they were a M5 0.8. A lot of people, I know they'll ask questions. I'll try to answer what I can, because you don't have a lot of meat in between here. That worked out perfect. I mean, I don't think you could go much bigger. You don't really want to go too small. M5 is an M5 0.8 M5. That calls for a 4.2 millimeter drill for tap size. So you take a 4.2 millimeter drill bit to drill your hole, and that'll tap with your M5 0.8 tap bit. The ones that I done, there was already one. I got this little cover. What do they call that? The oh God, went brain dead. Anyway, the one I had talked about previously in the video, that hole was already there. I have explained about why those didn't function quite right as far as having the bearings and using bearings in between there. Anyway, that one is a M6. That hole was already there, and I drilled this one to match an M6. And even if you don't do that, a lot of people use this for the bed lock. To be able to put, I got just a regular screw head in here, and I probably might put me on a little handle, I don't know. That one's an M6, and your drill bit size will be 5 millimeter. So you would drill that 5 millimeter, tap it with an M6. And the bearings that I changed out on the head bearings, head stop bearings, they're 6206. That is what came out of it. If you can see that, 6206. And you can get those bearings all over the internet. You can get good ones. You can get really good ones from Japan. If you're going back with a tapered roller bearings, like everybody does, like I did, it's much better for the application. I went with Timken, my bad, Timken. I done the Timken bearings. I think it's a France. I think they're made out of France. I got pictures of through this and some video. I got some video of doing the actual bearings and how I done it with the grease. So I'm gonna make this little clip short. because all that's covered in the other one. I just want to go through that because I figure people might ask me some questions on what size they use and all that. And again, uh, you know, you'll determine your dead center on this. This makes all the difference in the world to this little lathe. That helped that cross bed tremendously. And then I'll explain all the rest of the stuff to do, so I'm not going to waste time on this doing that. I'll incorporate this in my video on my lovely editing skills. And on to the next. See ya. All right, this is what I was shooting for. And should ride snug in between these two. Get her down in there. There we go. Alright, there's dead nuts in between there, and I'm gonna run my bolt back through there. On both sides. She's already stout. What a awesome little upgrade. Then later on, I probably could do something, maybe cap that off, but I'm tickled with it. I mean, what just I've cut so far, it's made a tremendous difference to this lathe. Hey, this is the cheapest piece of crap on eBay, man. With all that I've done and the taper bearings, now you got a good little, tiny little mini lathe. Always something to do. You can always. I'm going to continue to do stuff, but that is the best I can do with the stoutness of it. So now it's just all the little things. All right, I'll probably give one last overall when I do some cutting and see how good it does on the steel, and I'll be back. All right, guys. As much as I hate to admit it, I don't know if it's gonna work. This is the concept I was going for. See, and this one, I mean, it's serving its purpose, I guess, but not like I want to. I mean, it's stout. Everything I've done in this thing is stout. What I had all in mind, and I know what happened, was I would love to have a bearing perfect fit to ride in here. This screw would be sleeve with a shoulder down to here, and then threads threaded in my plate, as you've seen me go through before. But last night when I measured this out, this hole was already here, just like this one right here. There was 2 holes already, and it's probably accessory for this something, for this lathe. So, I mean, it looked really close to dead center, and then trying to actually mic that to dead center, especially with what limited tools I have, just calipers and stuff, and it was extremely close. I thought it was, but when you're talking off a couple thousandths or even more, it just won't work with the concept like I'm trying to do. Good idea what I had. And it, you know, I could leave it in there, of course, but what I was trying to prevent was any kind of bed movement at all. But you know, this right here, these two, as I talked about before, drilling these, and then you can put Loctite on it. Real, you know, I put red Loctite throughout this whole thing, and I talked about that earlier previously. And then when you move it one little bit, you know, it's going to stay, or it'll stay where you for a long time. But eventually, I'm sure it'll wear the tip of that. And I balled the end of those out, so when it rides on this, you know, it's smooth. Eventually, I'm sure I'll need another little snug up, but for the most part, this thing is absolutely beef stout. It's a long way from the piece of crap it was when I got it. So somebody who wanted to do this right here could do it. You better be deadly accurate. I don't know if it's worth it. Now, yes, leaving this in, I may do that just because I'm going to end up probably putting a handle on here. I wanted a bed stop lock, just to lock down when I'm parting off. So I was going to do this anyway, and this is what gave me the idea of this bearing running in here. But also, these edges aren't perfectly true. There's some variations, even though I sanded them. It's just not perfect. And in order for a bearing to ride in there and work with this, it damn near has to be perfect. So, but nevertheless, it made for a good stop, and you got the info on everything I've done to beef this thing up, and that's key right there. So I'm ending it at that, and we'll see you on the next project. Out, entrepreneurs.